I will, let's see. Call the meeting to order at 6:34 p. And here's Dave, Rob, Melinda, no Dan, Christy, Mike, Brian, Paul, Jackie, Marion, Sean, and no Rich, no Dan. Dave is joining us. I have been relegated to the cellar this evening. They say my voice is too loud or my mouth is too big. I'm not sure which. It's just that Marine Corps voice that keeps coming out. I'm not sure. So having called the meeting to order, Dan is coming in. We'll wait for Dan to come in and then we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, because as you all know, Dan was instrumental in getting the Pledge of Allegiance featured at many public meetings in town. And I see you're unmuted, but I don't have any video. Well, here he is.
There he is.
So we'll commence with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ah,
The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Thank you very much. Our newly appointed clerk, Rob, is going to be taking the minutes this evening. Under separate cover, I sent the meeting minutes out that covered the December timeframe. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments about the minutes as written?
Nope, look good.
No,
Hearing none, I will make a motion to accept the minutes.
second,
Second.
Good.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hearing-
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. We'll segue right into the VSO report.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm having a time delay of some sort with my computer. I don't know if it's just me or if it's everybody. Is there a bit of stagnation going on?
Yeah, you've got a little lag going
Yeah.
on.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Roger that.
I don't know what's causing that either. Anyhow, let me see if I can fix it. Why don't you go ahead, Jim? Let's see if I can see what's going on with my computer.
Okay, and Rob, I will send you the Dave's report under separate cover, and then we can just copy and paste it into the meeting minutes.
Thank you.
So with that, we'll segue into the recap of the Wreaths Across America event. I as I think I've said, I have to think that this was a very successful Wreaths Across America event. I certainly thank you all once again for all of your support to meet our goal, exceed our goal, and if the process continues the way it should, we should go into next year with some wreaths in the bucket already. There's any wreaths over and above the goal, which was 440, they carry over to next year. So we'll have some number, few dozen in the well looking forward to next year. I don't know if you've seen tonight's daily item. There was an an article in there announcing the 2021 Wreaths Across America event. I did not submit that to the item. I don't know if anyone on the board did, or if the item is now on the Wreaths Across America mailing list, or if somebody from the item went out and grabbed it, but it's good to see it there. Didn't bring the item down with me, but the theme for 2021 has already been taken. I think it's basically we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before us, and I think everyone in this group can identify with that. So once again, thank you all very much for your support. At some point as we move forward through the year, I guess we as a board will have to decide whether we want to be the local coordinators for the 2021 event, or we can just discuss and vote on it now and just know that we're going to do it going through the year, with whatever you folks prefer. Anyone have any preference?
Jay, what would be the alternative?
I would assume it segues back to the DPW, Dennis Fazio being the local coordinator.
And probably not fair to take a vote on him since he doesn't know it, if we were to do that.
I certainly, judging from the emails that he sent me, he certainly appreciated the board taking that quote unquote burden off of his shoulders, given everything else that he had going on with COVID-19 and just his daily activities. I can certainly reach out to him, but I certainly don't anticipating there being any reluctance on his part. But I will take the action to reach out to him to see how he feels about continuing into next year, and then we can postpone any motions, et cetera, to a future meeting, if that seems reasonable.
Sure, but just to say it out loud, I think it's perfectly appropriate that we're the sponsors of that locally. And so unless he feels really strongly, if he says, I don't really care, we could go either way, I think we should keep it.
I agree as well.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree on that.
it's kind of a nice feather in our cap.
Sure, but I think it makes sense to be respectful and ask him what he thinks before we take any action.
I was actually going to reach out to him today to ask him, for my own education, how they handle the wreaths down at Forest Glade and around town. You know, they certainly still look nice. They look better against a blanket of white snow like we had when we did it. But I want to find that out anyhow from him. And at the same time, I will ask him if he had any preferences on proceeding next year. So I'll do that. I'll send him an email when I get back upstairs.
I think Jay, I think we owe a lot of credit to the crew that he had down there at Forest Glade. That had them all lined up in the rows, and they did a great job.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that is certainly nothing that he and I discussed beforehand. It was all done. They had wreaths placed around town already. You know, from my perspective, he's an awesome guy, awesome to work with. Anything that you think we should consider, or for as an after action report, anyone think of anything that we should that we didn't do well, we should look at for improvement, et cetera, coming out of this past event?
Was there somebody that was sponsoring a lot of wreaths? Because I hear some florist was going to
I think we should do the
sponsor
same thing we did this year, next year.
next year. So what's the story on? I don't know.
I downloaded a report on all of the wreaths that were sponsored. I didn't see any florists. I know Christie spoke about having a different Kimball florist, I think it was, looking at wreaths, but I was
Yes.
unaware. I was unaware of any florist that sponsored any inordinate number of wreaths for 2020.
No.
I can certainly go through the report again. It's basically something that I can dump into an Excel spreadsheet that shows all the activity. So I can look at that again to see if there's anything that's popped up since I last went in.
I thought it was a resident of Wakefield that owned a florist out of town and was gonna do it either this year or this coming year. But
That was Chris. Yeah, I mean, that's Beth Goodchild who owns.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that was in the context of we needed a wreath for a ceremony and we went out and bought one. And Jay, I think you said it was really expensive and we didn't get a deal. And then I think that like in that context of when you need one for a ceremony, I
Yes.
think I heard that Beth would be willing to donate those for us or something.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember the wreath that we used on Veterans Day? Very nice wreath, very substantial, very well done. That was $175.
You said it was expensive. I didn't think it would be that much. That's a lot of money.
That is, yeah. And chalk that up to need to ask what it's going to cost before we sign up for it. But I just wanted to get it done, and in the big scheme of things, it wasn't something I needed to trouble about. So hearing nothing unusual, as I said, I'll reach out to Dennis when this meeting adjourns and see how he feels about 2021. If 2021 flies anywhere near as quickly as 2020 did, it's going to be here before we know it. Everybody's busy. I just hope that a lot of the craziness that happened in 2020 doesn't happen in 2021. And we can put the craziness in the rearview mirror, although we've already seen a fair bit of it. Dave, how's your timing going? Where are you?
Well, I'm right
Are you-
here. I just took my video off, hoping that my voice can come through clear. Is that working any better?
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to stay on audio and forget the video, that's fine.
That's what I'm thinking, okay? So if you can hear me without it jumbling up, that's great.
Yeah.
I'll just read the report then.
Okay.
Okay. The VSO report for Wakefield Veterans Advisory Board, January 19th. The food bank for Wakefield is, of course, tomorrow, the third Tuesday of the month. The Wakefield Food Pantry, once again, has donated dry goods to go along with the Boston Food Bank donations. And we currently have 20 recipients. On the Chapter 115 program, we have 14 recipients. The recertification is going well. They've all been completed. I'm just waiting for authorizations from the authorizers in Boston. Christy and I have been continuing surveying the community for veterans discounts in the businesses in town. We have gotten up to 40 commitments already, and we'll be reaching out next week, hopefully not this Saturday, the following Saturday, maybe sooner. It's all about scheduling for more. We'll be going down Salem Street as well as Water Street. The Do-It decals, I believe, have been ordered. I got the okay for that from Karen, and we'll be distributing them along with the new clients and going back and giving them to the existing clients that are going to be doing the discount program. We lost 2 veterans in the last few days. Joseph Rocamato to COVID. He was a Korean War veteran. And also Salvatore Orfis, a World War II veteran, 93 years old. He did not go by COVID, though. Apparently, he had taken a fall. He was the proprietor of the Wakefield Bowlerdrome on Water Street for many years. He was very generous to the community. A senior veteran who lived in 12 Chestnut Street was displaced by a fire a few weeks ago, the upstairs apartment, and the downstairs where he lived with his son was vacated because of the water damage. He called to see if there was anything the Veteran Services could do for them, and unfortunately, there was no real need to. He's doing well financially. He was getting $1,000 from the landlord to be replaced. Displacement costs, first and last months, everything was good. He has financial stability, so he won't be getting anything from the Veteran Service Organization at this time. And that's about it.
Okay.
Was it clear enough? I wasn't sure if it came across.
No, it was fine. I mean, I don't know. Should we make a motion to accept the report as read?
So moved.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Veterans Corner.
Thank you. I'm back. That's better.
I forwarded out some work that Brian had done with a buddy of his at the item. Brian can maybe speak to the technical aspects of how these things are set up in the item. But as we discussed in the past, we thought that it was a good idea to maybe publish periodic articles or whatever have you in the item. I believe the editor, if that's his position, has thought that page 4 in the item would be a good spot for it. And I believe I forwarded out like an example of a banner. Brian had an idea of the banner featuring the branches of service. You've seen a number of things. I know in Saugus, they have the logo for the Veterans Council that has all of the branches of service, does not include the Space Force. But I thought that was a good idea. So, we'll put some more effort behind this. I just got bogged down in other things, and we'll run it by the board. But, there were some few things that were put forth from discussion, and I'll just throw a couple of ideas out there. So I guess we have two options, and maybe more if you can think of them. These articles could be from the Veterans Service Officer or the Veterans Advisory Board, either or both, because the editor asked about a byline in the header. So we'll need to think about that. Asked if they wanted a picture of Dave in the paper. My first reaction was hell no. Maybe Dave wants to have his mug on page 4. I don't know. He is a bit of a camera hog if you haven't been able to tell so far. I don't have any preconceived notions. I think, just in my opinion, coming from the Veterans Advisory Board would keep the idea that this board actually does exist, and these are some of the things we do out in front of the public, and or Dave. Again, I really don't care either way, because I think it's important that folks know not only that Dave's office exists, et cetera, but this board exists, and by extension, who the folks are that are on this board. So if you've got a friend, neighbor, or whatever have you, I don't know about you, Dave, but I get a lot of calls in Saugus from somebody who told somebody about the office. And I get a lot of referrals from the Veterans Council. So, I think it's a good idea to have Dave's office and the board out there in the public. So again, I don't care. So we could have Dave, the board, or no byline, or a monthly byline if a member of this board does the actual, writes the actual article. Again, I don't care, I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll make a decision.
Oh, I've got one. I was waiting for other people to pipe in. Well, I think since my pitch is going to be there, and they always call my office anyhow, collaboratively speaking, I think that we could do the Veterans Corner once a month, like you said, but anything that goes into that article needs to be approved by the board.
No doubt.
Run it by them. We can each take a turn at contributing something to it.
No doubt. And to back up a little bit, I don't think we decided that your mug's going to be in the paper.
Right.
So, you know,
I think it should.
You know, one of the things that I just thought is, you know, we could use this monthly meeting as a way of reviewing and approving an article that would subsequently be published the following week. Brian, what did Bob think? Like a Tuesday?
I think he was leaving it up to us, Jay. And just to clarify a little bit, so I asked the design guys down there to come up with this banner for us, just to give us something to take a look at. And Jay and I talked about the 5 branches. And originally, the item had suggested Dave's photograph as the VSO. But as I got thinking about it after the fact, if you think about, for those of you that get the item and think about things like the Beacon Hill roll call, it has the pictures of the 3, the local, Senator Lewis and Reps Lipper Garabedian and Wong, where they have focus on faith, and it's a particular church, and the minister or chaplain or whoever it may be, their photos in that. Because this could be written by, as Jay pointed out, by the board or by Dave or by any one of us individually with prior approval, it might be better just to do it on a byline basis and keep the banner just to draw our attention to the column rather than to, originally I agreed, I thought it'd be nice to have Dave's photo out there just because he is the veteran service officer. But, it may be, to Jay's point just now, it might be nice to see that there's other people standing behind Dave to support him. So that's why I'd be in favor of a byline rather than any one individual photo.
Okay. You know, and again, if it comes up that, the article is either written by an individual and then edited by the rest of us, certainly that individual could get the byline. But if it's a collaborative type of effort where it's really more for the board, we just do it from the board. That's fine.
Yep.
If
Okay.
one of the goals, though, is to increase visibility of Dave and the role, at the end of each segment, we could say, have questions, just to kind of prompt, and then have like a small Dave's photo info to contact.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we could certainly end each article with, for further information, call the Wakefield Veteran Services Office, yeah, no doubt.
Just one other comment, if I might. This was meant to be specific issues, I think, the Veterans Corner thing, but, and that's when they said once a month, but they're also, obviously, I hope, if something were to come up between our monthly meetings that had to get out, they just run it under the Veterans Corner logo, and it would just be, whatever press release we wanted to send out rather than a particular product or service or what's available.
Yeah, and I think that we could certainly share information over the Veterans Advisory Board email, as we go forward. That's not a problem at all. So, my thought was, and we don't necessarily need to come up with a decision on this tonight. My thought was for like a first article would be, an introductory type of an article. Look for things here periodically. We're going to be focusing on veterans benefits, top high level. This is what the Veteran Services Office does. it's in the McCarthy Senior Center, yada, yada, yada. Hours are VSO Dave Mangan, trustee associate Marianne McPherson, et cetera, keep it high level. And then we can start pinging on specific benefits, et cetera. And, you know, going forward, we could certainly call on the expertise of the members of this board if any of all of us have had experience negotiating VA healthcare, negotiating disability claims, or like I don't know about you, Dave, but I'm getting a half a dozen calls a day about COVID vaccines.
Yeah.
Yep.
There
Yep.
are a lot of people that think
Okay.
the veteran, you know, I'm a veteran. That's the e-ticket ride to Disney World, and all you have to do is say that, and you know that should open all doors. And unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case. But I think that you know we can, by putting information out there on a regular basis, we can break down the somebody told me information that from my 3 years of experience is generally 180 out from reality. Oh, my neighbor told me, or my neighbor gets $5,000 a month, or whatever the case may be. Or I'm a veteran, I heard my husband gets buried for nothing. You know, things like that.
Wrong.
That's all.
Spousal benefits as well.
Yeah, that's almost on a weekly basis. You know, unfortunately, you know, I've had 2 veteran deaths in the last month, and you know, one family was kind of all squared away. One family is not at all. So, you know, I think any information we can put out there will be helpful.
And you know, at our meetings, Jay, we could discuss what the next month's item might want to be that we put in the item. So we're in advance of it, so that if anything comes up between the first publication and the next one, at least we have an idea where we're going with the one following that one, trying to stay a month ahead. Because
maybe,
there are different things throughout the year.
Yeah, maybe what we can do, with your permission, I'll try to put something high level together for the next publication. Like, you know, before I forget what my train of thought was. And then maybe in the next meeting, we'll put
Absolutely.
an agenda or a syllabus together. These are the issues that we want to target month after month. Some of them are going to be more substantial than others. Some of them will be quick and dirty.
Christy and I were talking about at one point publishing the 40 or 50 businesses that will be giving the discount, or we can make it short and sweet. If you see this decal on the door, that establishment will be giving you a veteran discount.
Yeah. You know, and I think to Brian's point, maybe we could make that a one-off once we're able to share the logo. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I think to your point that either you raised last meeting, these are the businesses that are in it. If you see this logo, and then if you're not on it and you want to be on it, reach out to A and B.
So Jay, we had item number 6 to talk about that program. Are we segueing into that, or are we sticking with the Veterans Corner? We still have more to finish.
This is still Veterans Corner, I think.
Okay.
But that's a good point. Okay, so again, I'll take the action to put something high level together for the initiation of the Veterans Corner, okay? So now, to Rob's point, we'll go back to item number 6 with the Veterans Discount Program. You know, you said that you and Christy have been going around 40 businesses to date. Next plans are Salem Street.
And Water Street, yes.
Okay. you guys happy
I
continuing?
can send you the copy of the Excel that Christie put together, the list.
Okay, we can share that with the board.
Yeah.
Are you guys comfortable that you're happy with just the two of you working on this? Is there anything to be gained by throwing more bodies at it if anyone's open and available?
Well, I don't know. I'll send the board, I can send the list to you that Christie put together on the Excel sheet. And you'll see the ones we've already gone to. That way we're not going in a second, third time.
Yeah,
And we can share that with the board.
Well, I got notification from Eric that the decals I should have in my hand tomorrow. So the next time out, we will not have, we can just go back and hit everybody again and drop off decals, mark down their discounts and sign anybody else up that wants to do it right there on the spot. We can mark it down, but now we will have the decals in hand and I should have those tomorrow.
that's awesome.
Great.
Yeah, it is awesome. Now we, can do it all at one stop instead of have to go in, take their name, take their contact, and then have to go back now to drop off decals. Now we'll just hit it in one swoop. It'll be perfect.
Did we share the decal with the entire board?
I don't know, David, did we?
I'm sorry, I didn't, my volume is bad. Try it again, say
I'm
again.
sitting, I can take a picture of it and send it out to everybody. I'm sitting in my car, doing the Zoom call while my son is at his little boxing lesson. I can take a picture and send it out to everyone's email.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Do it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's a clear decal. It came out really
Do it.
great. I want to say it's probably, I don't know, 5x7. And Eric was going to do them in-house, but because they were on a clear background, so they look better, he had to send them out. And for 100 decals, it cost $160. That David already got Karen's permission to get reimbursement. So I'm going to pick up the decals. I'll pay out of pocket, and then I'll give whoever I need to a receipt and not worry about it.
Oh, no, I think we can certainly get you reimbursed for it.
Absolutely. I just need the receipt.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm going to meet Eric and I'll get the decals. I'll pay for it. I'll just get a receipt and we'll take care of it. I'm not worried.
You may have to do a W-9 form or something like that. If you're not in the town system.
We're taking it out of the parade budget, Jay.
Okay.
Don't even get me started on that.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I was just thinking, Jay, maybe we should make up a couple of little flyers that maybe Dave can give out. Somebody comes in saying, hey, here's 50 different, businesses in Wakefield that'll give you a discount.
Yeah.
Just run off in a copy machine or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we compile a list, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, no.
It's a great idea.
I'm excited about this. This is a really, really good idea, and I'm hoping that the businesses will start competing with each other if they start hearing about who's given what discounts. Probably not fair to them to post those percentages. I don't know, but
as Christy and I were telling the retailers that a lot of folks that come into the establishment that will see the decal,
Oh,
okay. Like Christy and I were telling the retailer, when the people come in that aren't veterans, or they may have family who are veterans, will see that and recognize the value of that establishment because they are friendly to veterans. My volume is messed up.
I think the traction that you've gotten so far is awesome. I certainly applaud you for it.
What's really scary is that as soon as I and David walk into an establishment, walk in the door, people, they're so afraid we're there to hit them up for money or something. It's crazy. We're like, what does it cost us? What do we need to do? We're like, no, all we want to know, can we put a decal on your window and will you give a discount to veterans? And they're like, that's it? And we're like, yeah, but the initial reaction is people are so standoffish. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. At one point, we started going in saying, this isn't gonna cost you anything.
Right.
This is
It's
not
just
a,
wild.
this is not a stick up.
Yeah.
Right. They look
That's what
at
it
you like
feels
you
like.
want money right away. What do you want, you know?
No,
Everybody relax.
I'm sure that some of them, like brothers, et cetera, get hit up quite regularly. Well, again, thank you very much. Anything else on the Veterans Discount Program?
That's all I got.
Brothers
Okay.
were pretty receptive. Brothers
Yeah.
were good.
Well, I couldn't be more pleased with the activity that, on a number of these items. I think it's awesome. Memorial Day, if you got to watch the news tonight, you've seen that the St. Patrick's Day Parade in South Boston has already been canceled. I can only assume, given the vaccine rollout timelines that I've seen, I would assume that we're still going to be in some sort of a lockdown mode by Memorial Day.
Oh, Jay, we got the 4th of July parade in Wakefield has already been canceled, so.
Yeah. I know. So, I will,
Wow.
I know it's probably a little, premature, but I'll reach out to the town administrator's office for guidance. Just have him confirm our expectations, and, perhaps our path moving forward is to look at a more virtual experience. And some of the stuff that was done for Veterans Day, and the support that we got from WCAP and from the item, it's probably not too early for us to start thinking about content that we can put
Yeah.
in those outlets for Memorial Day. And it's probably appropriate that, David and I need to start going out and getting quotes for flags. Christie, it might be, maybe it's a little early, but in the coming months, reach out, get a quote for wreaths. I don't know what we paid for the 13 wreaths that we put around at Memorial Day. I do think that they need to be changed. It kind of goes back to when the American Legion used to get the wreaths. Like one would say American Legion, one would say, I don't know what it says, full VFW post, whatever have you. Those ribbon banners that go across the wreath. I don't know if we need them. I'm sure they're an extra cost, but we can discuss that also as we go forward.
So we're looking for, if I heard you correctly, 13 wreaths for Memorial Day?
Yeah, that's what we've had in the past.
Yep.
Same 13 places that we placed more than that for wreaths across America, but it was, Forest Glade, Common, Patty Heights, Greenwood School. We have not historically placed anything at the 4 chaplains. But maybe that needs to be on our list for declarations as we move forward. We have not generally put anything down at Colonel Connolly on Memorial Day or up at
Landrigan.
Landrigan, or anything like that. We certainly could. When I went up to place the wreath at Colonel Landrigan Field, of course, the plaque was under 4 feet of snow. And so I just put it at the field. So, we've got some time. And we can certainly do a virtual Memorial Day ceremony, very similar to the one that we've done at the Galvin. We could get a guest speaker. We could get a member of the clergy. And, you know, I could reach out to Mr. Bankert and the Choral Society, see if folks want to tape their portion of the ceremony moving forward. And then the wizards at WCAT could put it together and stream that over the weekend. At the same time that they're streaming some of the historical presentations that they've put together. So I thought that on Veterans Day, the work that was done, I know Paul and Dave did a narrative. You know, we could certainly open that up for more. So I'll take an action item to reach out to the town administrator's office, confirming that we will move ahead with more of a virtual ceremony. And then in the next month, we can try to put more meat behind the thing. If you have any ideas for guest speakers, and or if anybody on this board wants to be a guest speaker, I've done it. Dave's done it. I don't think anybody else here. Dan, have you ever done it? Not at Memorial Day. So, I mean, I think it's something that you know, is definitely, you know, has been well done in town, and I think that you know, we should definitely plan on having a virtual ceremony. Okay. Anything else on that? All right, Dan, did you share? I got all your pictures today. Were they shared with anyone else other than me today?
No, other than you,
Okay.
just you. I got a couple of pictures here. Maybe I can show if you can see them on screen. But just, you got to realize this is just a first concept, just an idea on what I'm thinking of doing. I'd also like to get Brian involved. I know he had mentioned that he'd like to get involved with it. Rick Pearson had also talked to me. But basically, it's for Veterans Field. We don't have a monument there at all, calling it Veterans Field. And I figured right out there in center field, we could put a sign up and maybe a small stone monument, add it to our list of memorials every Veterans Day and Memorial Day to drop off a wreath. I would like to see that field, you know, recognized as Veterans Field.
Yeah.
Veterans Field actually was a WPA project back in 1934. So it's been that long, and all my life I've never seen any monument or marking or sign that says what it is, Veterans Field. And it was originally going to be a baseball field, a playground, tennis court, and believe it or not, an ice rink. But you see what's there today. But I'd like to mark it, and I've looked into some signs and some you know, regular signs that say Veterans Field, and also a granite monument. So I think I can come up with the funding for both of those, but I just want to see what people think of the concept. And I've run it by Quinlan Memorial, and I've also run it by Bobby Sardella down the Sardella sign. He has given me a concept sign, but like I say, this is the first initial stages of it. And I can show you a few signs here. This is
one of the things I'll do also, Dan, is I'll forward the emails that you sent me to the rest of the board members.
okay. Let me just show quickly these. This is one sign that they had with basically the 5 branches of service on it. That's a regular sign post. Another one here comes from Bedford. And this is the, it's hard to see it right there.
Down of it, yeah. Yeah, like that.
It's a little bit bigger, but it's the, you know, the 2 granite posts along with the sign. in the branches of the service. That's in Bedford. There's another one from Seekonk. These are in Massachusetts. Same thing. And this is the concept that Bobby Sardella had come up with. And this shows Veterans Field with the overlay. And this is what it would look like if I could.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah, that looks nice.
I like that.
Okay, and that would be right out in center field, right near the sidewalk, people to be walking by it. The only thing I'd say is where they have the 3 bunches of, looks like roses, maybe in the center, a little granite monument. And, you know, you can either have white post or you could have granite. I think the red color for Wakefield, and I think it would show up nicely too. But that's approximately, there is a flagpole there already. Maybe
Right.
Dennis or something could move that flagpole directly in the back and center it. But, you know, like I say, this is the first concept of it. And,
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
I think
That's very well
the
done.
funding for it through 2 families, and I won't get into who those are, but I think we can fund it. And also, I think there's another big town building that's also having a similar type of sign put up also. So I don't know what your ideas on it, good, bad, what? But that's-
No,
Right.
I think it's awesome, Dan. Do you think that funding is contingent on some sort of notation on the memorial?
That's what it would be, donated to the town, a gift to the town by, and it's 2 families, you know, small underneath type of thing.
Yeah.
I know the Civil War monument up on the Common was donated by the Flint family, if people know who the Flint family was, but it's a pretty well-known family in Wakefield and North Reading. But this would be you know, just a small little etching on the bottom. And I don't know how that works with the town as far as a town property, town signage, but we'll see.
Well, you know, I certainly think that this is something that we'll have to run through the town council at some point. Just judging from what we've done with Eagle Scout projects and stuff like that.
We're talking several $1,000s here too, so if they
Yeah.
can come up with the funding for it, it would be great.
Well, like I mentioned, you know, we have the memorial checkoff on the excise tax bill. Monies are set aside for memorial restoration and stuff like that. To the best of my knowledge, we've never spent a dime out of that. And I'd have to do some research to find out where that came from and if it's earmarked in any specific way. But we can certainly make that part of the project too.
Where is that checkoff, Jay?
On your excise tax bill,
Oh,
you can make a donation to the Wakefield Veterans Relief Fund or the Memorial Restoration Fund. But if you pay your taxes online, that option does not exist.
Yeah.
Right.
And into the same,
Dan, Jay, is there also a way for us to note that it was part of how it was built? Because I think that's really interesting too. If we could just say have
You know-
something on there about that.
that would, you know, I'm envisioning that as part of the publicity or ramp up to the project, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Taking the historical perspective that Dan's been able to dig up and make that part of the project announcement, if you will, because I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen any pictures of it or as far as history, you know, like I said, I looked in the town reports and it was proposed in 1934 and actually built in 35 as a WPA project. And then I heard nothing. I didn't hear if it was ever dedicated or maybe this could be part of a rededication of the field.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Veterans Day 2021. We might be out from underneath COVID by then.
That would be great.
You know, my in-laws used to live on Emerson Street, which is one street over from North, right around the corner from from Vets Field. And there are, I don't know what the metallic markers in the sidewalks, noting that they were a WPA project. At least the ones that haven't been torn up by trees and stuff like that.
Well, actually, when I was a kid, watching the softball games down there back in the early 50s, there used to be a set of granite steps in center field that stepped up maybe about 6 steps. And I was talking to, at the Wreaths Across America, I was talking to Dennis Fozzie, and he says, Dan, they're still there. He says, we just covered them all up and smoothed it off. But at Wreaths Across America, I talked all about, you know, my idea about Veterans Field to Steve Mayo, had no problems with it. And Dennis had no problems with it. He said, just don't put anything on the field. All this would be in back of the fence.
Right.
Yeah, they probably buried the steps after 5 center fielders got broken leg. Running past them.
Well, they used to hit the ball onto North Avenue. So.
Yeah. It's when they went to those restricted flight softballs. That's awesome.
And if I might say to Marion, one of the best teams there ever was down there was the West Side Social Club when they had their softball team.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They were.
So next steps on this, where do we go from here? We'll discuss further in February.
Jay, is that something, if we decide to do it and we get permission to do it for fundraising, that we can't put that in the Veterans Corner, letting them know that it's being done?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, that would be a good piece to put on the Veterans Corner.
No doubt. Okay, yeah, more to follow. That's awesome, Dan. Thank you very much.
One other thing from talking to Quinlan Memorial, who really doesn't do these memorials anymore. They said they got so much to do with grave sites and stuff. He said he's willing to do it for Wakefield because they are located in Wakefield.
Yeah.
But he stay away from anything that's bronze. He said with scrap metal people, they tear it apart.
Yeah.
Well, and if we ever did run into a problem, we could go to the gentleman in Everett, Woodlawn, who has done a lot of work around, Rick knows his name, but it'd be nice to give it to a local business. Awesome. Well, thank you, Dan. Paul, Veteran of the Month, what were you thinking?
So that just kind of goes back to what soldiers used to do in units, and or Veteran of the Quarter, Veteran of the Month could be a very general thing. I was thinking, I drive down to Melrose occasionally, and they'll welcome home a veteran that's been deployed. There's a sign that says welcome home to, a service member. We don't do that.
Yeah.
The Veterans Corner would be a good place to kind of showcase that, but basically it's just an opportunity to spotlight maybe a Veteran of the Month, maybe Veteran of the Quarter, or Soldier of the Quarter. It could be an appointment to a service academy. Just spotlighting somebody in our community, somebody in town that is coming home, maybe did something in their unit overseas that needs to be highlighted. Maybe something their family member is doing while they're deployed.
I thought of this today when I was watching the local news and they were interviewing a couple of Massachusetts National Guard members who were in DC for the inauguration. And even something like that, if we knew there was somebody from Wakefield there or anything like that, I was going to bring that up too, as I'd really like for us to start maybe somehow recognize our active duty members from this town. And, and I think because people probably don't know who is, but they're going to be veterans and we need to support them.
Yeah, we used to have a, hold on one second. I'm gonna go see if I can find it. Can you see this? Well, it's kind of reversed, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly.
this This one hung at the Americal Civic Center
Oh,
from that balcony
Yeah.
on the second floor on the front of the building. And unless you knew what we were looking for or weren't paying attention while you were driving down Main Street, you probably never saw it. Where the one that is prominently featured at Melrose City Hall, you can't miss it. And the program that we had here, Rick Pearson used to run it. It kind of ran out of steam because, we're kind of beholden on people to bring that information forward. And again, that can be something in Veterans Corner.
Right.
Because, Veteran Services doesn't have a veterans list. We don't know who the veterans are in town. We don't know who's deployed. We don't know any of those things.
So,
So,
but the National Guard does, and Camp Curtis Guild is often a springboard for deployment and also welcoming home.
yeah. But we don't get any information from the Public Affairs Bureau as far as who's here, who's where. And, it's almost like self-reporting, I think. I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. We'll just need to put some meat on the bones for how we discover
Yeah.
these people. And I think,
What happened to the old hometown news release?
yeah. I remember when I was in, they were always sending things to my hometown newspaper of any little thing I did.
I don't know if that happens anymore because I've been retired longer than I was in. But, the colleges seem to do a great job of that. I don't know if units have those hometown news release type of things. I don't know. And so I think putting some wood behind the arrow here is how do we figure out
Yeah.
who these people are?
How
Well,
do,
I think that social media is kind of sort of having an impact on the hometown news release program.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
But my thought here is if you do it on a quarterly basis, maybe you save a seat for them at Memorial Day ceremonies, maybe 4th of July ceremonies, Veterans Day ceremonies, maybe at the wreath laying ceremony there in December. They get recognized. They get special recognition through the year. That's what we give them. It's not a monetary gift or anything like that. It's just recognition and thank you very much for what you've done.
Well, I think, absolutely, and I think Sardella Signs used to make the signs that we used at the Civic Center.
At the American.
Again, a great
I still,
resource. I'm sorry?
I still got mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
but you know what
mine,
I'd like-
mine might have been the last one, I'm not sure.
What I'd like to see with that is possibly expanding on that and inviting them to a selectmen's meeting or town councilors meeting and maybe saying the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of the meeting. And
Yeah.
maybe the town could buy them a dinner for their service. I know when I left the town of Wakefield way back, I got a black leather wallet with the town seal on it, and I still have it.
Wow.
But you could get one of the restaurant owners probably maybe to give a dinner, or maybe get the councilors that chip in and buy a dinner for them.
Well, I think, maybe we could, springboard off of the program work that Dave and Christie have been doing.
Yep.
To see if we could get like a quarterly meal or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, I don't know if Mr. Mayo is into making wallets these days, but
Jay, I sent you the decal that Chrissy had sent me from the car on your email. I didn't have all the other emails right now available. If you want to send that out to everybody, that'd be great. I think.
yeah, I'll take the action to send to forward the content that Dan sent me with all of the signs and memorials and stuff like that to everybody. And I will forward what I have it. Okay, thanks. I'll forward those out after this meeting. Okay.
Sure. Great.
Jay,
My
getting
computer's
back
running
to
better
the,
now.
to the ordering, I think if you put something in Veterans Corner out to the families, and it might get out word of mouth, I think families would like nothing better than to see their family members that are deployed or in the service recognized. And I
Yeah.
think if they knew that there was a way to do that, if they did that, they would be calling like crazy, because
No
I'm
doubt.
sure they would love to have that happen. So I think if we get that in Veterans Corner and get it out there, maybe it'll mushroom word of mouth that it can be. That we might be inundated, but oh well.
Well, I certainly believe that we will be inundated with families that want to acknowledge their service person. From my experience, I probably won't be met with the same enthusiasm by the service member.
No, and that, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, a number of years ago, we had Mr. Mayo's son, all in uniform, and way back, I think we had my old XO's son, Justin Marshall, in his West Point uniform at some ceremony. I think, I thought it was pretty cool, because it's when you have somebody of, right, wrong, or indifferent, some of us have turned into those old veterans that used to sit in the corner at the Marine Corps ball. Those old guys in their Marine Corps League jackets. We are they, some of us. So I think when you can draw a connection to younger troops, no matter their service, I think that's really cool. And I know that my parents used to make me get all dressed up whenever I'd go anywhere. And, all right, and then it was all good, but it was for them. So I think that that's a great idea. And we have not had a younger veteran speak at a ceremony in a long time.
Oh, yeah. And even at the West Side, we've tried to get some of them, and they just, nope, they just don't want any part of it. So,
I mean, I've reached out to the police department, fire department, stuff like that. Some of them will show, but they don't want the focus to be on them.
right, exactly.
Because, when we were serving, it wasn't about us, it was about the group. So I think, I think that's a great idea, and we can certainly put this in the Veterans Corner. I've asked Dave and my boss about that banner that is always down at Melrose City Hall. The Veterans Advisory Board in Melrose handles that. So I think it's appropriate that comes through this board also.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the best way to go about it might be the Career Center, because the recruiters are looking, they're in the high schools, they're recruiting, and they keep track of some of the service members and when they're going to return.
What's the Career Center?
The old recruiting office.
Oh, do you know where one is?
That's a good question. No, I don't.
I know that the Marine Corps has a recruiting office over there on Route 1.
Used to.
No, that's gone now.
That's gone.
Oh, is it in that strip mall there?
Yeah.
Yep, that's gone.
Yeah.
The only other one I know of is up at the North Shore Liberty Tree Mall.
That's still there.
I believe so.
Well, that's been there for a long time.
Yeah, I
Well,
think.
how do they do it then? Is everything virtual nowadays for recruiting?
I'm not speaking about the Marine Corps recruiting one that was right on Route 1. It's over by where the AAA office is. You know, out then the
Oh, yeah,
shopping center where Applebee's.
Applebee's,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so maybe that's where the, yeah, okay, that's maybe
There's
that's.
a Packy in there too. I think it's in there. I drive by it twice a day and I keep saying I'm gonna drop in, but I never have. I'll do it tomorrow morning. No, I'll do it tomorrow afternoon after we get through with the food market.
But I think your point about the self-reporting is also valid. I don't think units are going to give the information out.
You know, I've kind of asked about this over the last few years, and not with any sense of deliberation. And I've, you know, reached out to like the town clerk's office because you have to self-report on the census.
Yep.
You know, that's a Freedom of Information Act. Well, I'm not going to bother with that. You know, and you know, I didn't go battering through any roadblocks, but when I met some resistance, I just said, okay, you know, I have bigger fish to fry, so I'm not going to go there. But, you know, believe me, every time I see that banner in on Melrose City Hall, I think Wakefield should be doing that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think we need to find a way to do that. And, you know, I thought that very similar to the way it's displayed in Melrose, there's that sign in front of Wakefield City Hall, Town Hall, that we could do the same thing. Right at the corner of Lafayette and whatever that little side street is.
Yeah, yeah.
We could put it right there. Because like I said, at the Civic Center, you had to be looking for it.
Right.
To look up.
I like the town hall.
Yeah, all right.
I like that better.
Yeah.
Jay,
Good.
on the census, which we just filled out in here in Wakefield, and it's got the veterans checkoff block, you can't have access to that?
No, sir.
So who does get access to it? What's the point? Somebody in town gets it.
Right.
From what I was told, and I haven't asked in 2 years, that information isn't really utilized to any great extent locally. Again, I didn't push on it as much as I probably should have, you know, but when I got some resistance, I just said, okay, you know, that's a thought for another day.
But shouldn't Dave at the least have access to that or be?
No, ma'am.
Wow.
Crazy.
What's it for?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody ought to be able to answer that. Well, it was put there for something, right? If it's not for any of these things that seem useful.
I will ask.
Well, you know, if you want somebody else to take the beating, you know, I'll go ask somebody. I'm happy. You can use me as cannon fodder, right? Send me in.
We'll come up with a tanker analogy.
Okay.
The town clerk in Saugus, her office is right next to mine. Saugus Town Hall is in a set of kind of being deconstructed for better ventilation at this point. So they were sent home. They were sent home unannounced today. Well, I'll reach out to her. Okay, cool. This is running a little bit longer than I thought. Do we have any other business? Hearing none. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
In closing, you know, some of you that have been on the board for a while, you've heard me grouse about the lack of ideas and input and stuff that we've had over the years. I think the energy and the ideas that are coming from this board right now are absolutely outstanding. I couldn't be happier, and I certainly appreciate it.
That's awesome.
I'd stay safe. Oh, before, well, there's, well, none of you are even 65, a few of you are. But if you're 65 and over, enrolled in VA healthcare, you can get, hey, who's that handsome devil right there? You can make an appointment or just walk in down in Bedford to get the COVID vaccine.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
The auditorium, at Building 78.
I think it's over 65 or a 20% disability or
Okay.
more.
30%.
I got lucky last week, walked in, I was there for other business and got it done.
You got your first one? I got my first one today.
Oh, congratulations, guys.
All
for
right,
getting
well,
your vaccines.
thank you all very much and stay safe and we'll be in touch.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, bye, everyone.
Thank you.